What's up and welcome back to the channel. We're going to jump right into the action here. We bought into a 1-3 cash game with $500 at a friend's house. And we are just over $500, almost $600 because we did win a hand that was actually off the camera. Unfortunately, my camera did not record that hand. But let's go ahead and jump into it. We're under the gun with pocket queens. I raise it up to $12 and button calls. We go heads up to a flop. The flop comes out and brings us top set. Now, there are some flush draws and straight draws here, but with the pot being so small, I'm not really too worried about that. I'm going to go ahead and bet 1/3 pot, and now the villain is going to call. The pot now is $47, and the turn is a 4 of diamonds. I'm going to go ahead and go the passive route to see what the villain does. He bets $20, I call it. The river comes out a 5 of diamond, boating us up. We love to see that because if he's holding a strong flush, he is likely to bet here. So I'm going to go ahead and trap with the check and see what he does. And then he bets $40. I think for a moment and just go ahead and shove it all in because you don't have much behind. And the villain unfortunately folds. We take the pot and we move on to the next hand. Coming up next, we got King, Queen offsuit and the low jack. Under the gun limps, and I raise to $15. Cutoff calls, button calls, and big blind calls. Under the gun folds, and we're 4 ways to a flop. That brings me top 2 pair. There is a flush draw and some straight draws, so we're going to go ahead and lead with $40, which is about 2/3 pot. Button is going to call, and we are heads up to a turn. It's now a $144 pot, and the turn brings a 9 of club. Now this brings even more straight draws and another flush draw. So it's a pretty wet board here with top 2 pair. So I'm going to go ahead and go pretty strong here with a 2/3 pot of $100. Button is going to call after tanking for about 2 minutes. The river brings a 6 of heart. I'm not really scared of the 6 here. It does complete some potential straights, but I really don't see my opponent on that kind of straight given the action. So with that being said, I go all in with my opponent roughly only having $150 left, and it's about a $344 pot. So I go ahead and shove it. It's now almost a $500 pot, and my opponent folds, showing 6-8 of diamonds. So he was on a double draw. He completely missed on the river. So we got pretty much the most we'd ever get out of him here. It's a pretty good hand, pretty good pot for us, and we take it down. Now on to the next. The next playable hand, we wake up with 6-7 suited. We are now 6-handed, so there are some people leaving the game. Low jack raises it up to $10. I call on the hijack with big blind, and we are 3 ways to a flop. The flop comes amazing for us, bringing us top 2 pair again. That's pretty good. Low jack is going to lead with $20, and I do a min raise of $40. Big blind folds and the low jack calls. We got just over $100 pot, and the turn brings a 10 of heart. Not the best card for us. It does bring in some straight draws, and it does bring in the flush draw. So I'm going to go ahead and go the passive route and check it back to my opponent. And the river comes a terrible card for me. Now it's only 1 card to a straight. On top of that, there's a flush out there, so a lot beats me, and my opponent is leading with $80. I really don't see what I can beat here other than a bluff. I mean, I lose to any set. I lose to an 8 with a straight. I lose to any flush, and my cards are really seems pretty weak right here, but I'm hoping he's just trying to get me off the hand and bluffing here. So I'm going to make the crying call. And he shows us ace, queen of hearts for the nut flush. That was a bad turn card, and it did seem pretty trappy. He definitely got the max value out of me, but it is what it is. We're just going to go ahead and move on from that. Alright, we're going to switch it up. The other players wanted to do a $10 bomb pot, which is actually the Crazy Pineapple game. It's pretty much where we get 3 cards and we get to see 2 different boards. After seeing the flop, we discard 1 card. Everything else is pretty much regular poker. So I'm dealt ace 9-4 rainbow, and there's $60 total in the pot because we're only 6-handed. I'm in the low jack position, and we go straight to a flop that comes pretty good for us. We get trip 4s on the top board, but on the bottom board we're pretty blank. So the big blind is going to lead with $30. I will call it along with a cutoff in small blind, making the pot $180. So that's pretty good. While we got a 3 of a kind here, but who knows what everybody else has got. This is a bomb pot, so this is actually my first time ever playing this game. So I'm definitely gonna play this pretty passively just to see how everything turns out. And we got to discard a card. I choose to discard the 9 of clubs because, you know, that doesn't really help me on either of these boards. So I prefer to have the 4 with an ace kicker. And we go to a turn that brings us a full house. I got 4s over aces. Big blind leads it with 70. I'm going to call. Cutoff goes all in with 131 on top, which is pretty interesting. And then big blind calls it. I'm just thinking I should be good here. I mean, unless someone got pocket aces or pocket 8s, I should pretty much be good here. At least for the top board, of course. The bottom board, I completely whiffed, and I'm definitely not getting that one. But I gotta have somebody beat here, right? So I decided to shove it all in with 344 on top of the 131. And big blind goes into the tank for more than 2 minutes, but finally ends up making the call. We all flip over our cards, and I do beat big blind. And then cutoff actually shows the same exact hand as me. Pretty sick. So the river comes out of blank on both boards for me, and I'm pretty much just chopping it up and getting my money back. I actually lose a little bit here, but at least we didn't lose the big side pot. So yeah, pretty crazy time for my first time playing Crazy Pineapple. But yeah.
Wait, how does that one work?
So I get half because I won half the pot, and you guys split it.
We split the rest.
Split the other half.
Yeah.
So you guys get a quarter.
We did.
I don't know. Most likely on those quarter ones.
Yeah, because we're only splitting the main pot. We're just getting our money back pretty much.
I'm running good, guys. I'm running.
Our next playable hand, we wake up with pocket 9s on the button. Hijack's gonna limp in. Cutoff raises to $10. I make the smooth call. Hijack calls in. We're 3 ways to a flop. That brings 5 of club, 8 of spade to a club. So we got an overpair here. Cutoff is going to lead with a $15 raise. I do a min raise of $30. Hijack folds, and cutoff is going to make the call. We go to a turn heads up, and he checks it. I bet $60. He folds, and we take down a easy pot. All right, it is time to cash out. The game is breaking up and more people are just leaving, so it's time to go. We're leaving with a total of $500, which is exactly what we bought in for. So we're breaking even, much better than losing, of course. But, you know, it was a slow game. We wasn't getting a lot of action, and we were pretty much card dead the entire time. We was here about 5 hours, and you saw in the video pretty much the best pots we were in, so not much action here. But overall, we had fun. So it is what it is, and we'll see you guys on the next vlog. Hope you enjoyed, and have a good one.